In the Company of Friends is a model that is, we receive funding from Family Services, the Department of Family Services, which is with the Manitoba government. Innovative Life Options Incorporated is the incorporated body that supports the model, ICOF. The ICOF model is one that has been evolving over the last 22 years.
Yeah.
And it's person-centered. It's one that provides choice for people who have chosen this model. They receive funding from Family Services, and then they become the employer of their staff, of all of their choices, and they live in the community, they choose where to live, and this model supports that.
With Innovative Life Options, that we are the go-between with government, so the government really is not in people's living rooms, that it's much more status enhancing to have a resource staff, or, again, where they really direct the role that we play. And again, with people receiving their funding, getting back to that point, that really it's like people getting their paycheck and they go out and buy the services that they choose. So they really maintain that control of where and how they spend their money. So if they want to contract with a day support service to provide that, that's great. If they're not happy with that service, they take their money and go elsewhere. So it really does leave people in the driver's seat of their lives to maintain that control.
The money that people receive from Family Services, that's an important factor, but very much so what the plans are, what the choices are key, and they're those key elements. So there was this choice over 20 years ago that how do you administer this, and should it be government or should it be community? And very much the community's voice was heard and was very loud that it really needed to be community driven. So then the inception of Innovative Life Options Incorporated. And so Innovative Life, or we call it Life, Life supports the ICOF model, and then that model supports people in choices in a very respectful way. Each model is very flexible. Life has a board of directors that helps guide some of those principles, and we have some administrative staff, and then we have resource coordinators, and the resource coordinators are the people that are right with that individual.
And one of their very first and foremost roles is to ensure that there's a functioning support network around the person, so that the person does have people who help them to self-direct and make choices, and that they are really of the person's choosing, which is of course key again in having that as person-driven. And again, the resource coordinators also ensure that connection between government and assist in just whatever kinds of ways that a person would need, because when somebody does have their funding accepted, they become an employer. So they also have all the roles and responsibilities of an employer. So resource coordinators help to guide that process. So they have kind of a formalized role, and then they also have very much a role within the development of relationships.
I think we look for an individual that in their core, they believe in citizenship, and they believe in people's rights, and they believe in supporting self-determination for themselves and for others. That they have an ability to connect and connect people in a very unintrusive way, that there is a gentleness, but there's also a real strong ability to guide. I think that we look for people that have real respect for each other, for the people that they work with, abilities to face challenges in a positive way, because everyone's life are full of challenges, and so just kind of not just thinking on your feet, but processing and helping plan and being very flexible. It's everyone gets rattled once in a while, but just to be able to know that you're there for that person, but then you're also there for the community, and how do you build those kinds of things? So, in terms of academic backgrounds, things like that, you look at certain disciplines that support that. It's really great to have someone that has a strong knowledge in the disability community, but it's also very important to have someone, or as well, it's very important to have someone that a lot of their core values are, respecting and community building and really good planning skills.
Our philosophy is, yes, there's certain disciplines that people need to have, and of course there's some, focus around where, we are helping to assist people with budgeting and different things. So, there is a component there where people do need to have some, mathematical type of skills or projections around finances, but we also have the supporting people in our agency to assist coordinators with that as needed. And again, just in helping some of the stuff around supporting them to operate what would be very much a business and to be a good employer. So there's those components, but it really, we believe that people can be taught those skills, that really the heart of the person and their values is where we start.
And I think, just when Laurie was mentioning something, creativity, because it's sometimes really fun to be creative in people's lives and helping them and supporting them. And we've seen that in all the staff, where the different positives, the different challenges that they face with, can we be more innovative? How can we be more creative in helping develop solutions? And we've been talking about this recently too, about how do we start working more with the community outside of the disability community to really create certainly a better community in Winnipeg, in Brandon, in Manitoba. How do we do that? How do we engage people that aren't part of the disability community, or, have been, but, have moved away from it? How do we engage them again? And I think that's part of that, building relationships. So building relationships with the people that are key to ICOF and life, but also building relationships outside of that will I hope, build stronger communities and supportive communities for everyone.